Hello whistle players everywhere. So today I'm going to do just a very short video on a couple of technique things. And the most important, what I think of the foundation skills in order for you to ornament properly, is to have your fingers relaxed and soft. So it's really important for a number of different reasons, but the most important reason is so that you can get the ornamentation, the cut and the tap, and especially things like rolls and crayons. It's really important to have relaxed, soft fingers. So no gripping of the whistle. And when you're holding the whistle, it's holding it with just enough pressure to stop it from falling out of your hands. It's a bit like taking a leap of faith because one of the things we do when we first start playing whistle, and I still do this from time to time, especially when I'm practicing something which is tricky or difficult, I tend to tense up. And when you tense up, you're adding tension from your neck, from your shoulders, you're transferring that tension down your arms and into your fingers. So if you watch the really good players, they make it seem effortless, and that's because they are relaxed and their fingers are doing what they're supposed to do. And the only way really that you can get some of those clean cuts and taps and rolls and crayons and whatever other ornaments you want to use is by having soft and relaxed hands. It's a really important piece of advice, and certainly it's something which you need to train right from the beginning. So your very first lesson, if you like, would be to hold the whistle with just enough pressure to stop it from slipping out of your hand. So here's I'm going to use this Kerry Busker A whistle today. It's a bit bigger than a D whistle, but it's good to show you in terms of finger position. Now, whether you use the tips of your fingers like so, or whether you use the flats, the pads like I do, doesn't really matter. The important thing is that the grip should be light and soft. So when I'm holding my whistle, I should be able to balance it using my little finger as a fulcrum. Okay, so this is what I'm doing. I'll show you from the side. Yeah. And that's from the front. So in terms of position, you don't want your arms up like that and playing all sort of hunched over like that. It's adding tension. So again, it starts from your shoulders, down your arms, and what I do, hold the whistle out in front of you like so. Yeah, just like that. And then bring it down and then just lift it in an arc. So in front of you, lift it up in an arc. Yeah, and try and keep those arms down if you can. Yeah, you want as little tension in your arms as possible. So in terms of holding the whistle, I tend to use this little finger as an assist, if you like, especially when I'm going up to the high A, B, C, and that. It's quite useful to have that to help it rest. However, if your little finger won't stretch there, you can use this finger here. So you can use this finger from G, A, B. So below G, it tends to have a bit of a flattening effect on a lot of whistles. So you shouldn't need it for the other notes on the whistle, but certainly G, A, B, C, C natural, C sharp. There's no reason why you can't keep that finger there, or better still, if you can use that little finger as a balance, then that's ideal, because then you're not having any interference in tone. So it's minimal with this finger, certainly on the top hand. So and as you get down to the F, you can hear it does have quite a flattening effect. So really, you don't want to start leaving that finger on, if at all possible. So balance of the whistle. So I like to be able to just hold the whistle with my two thumbs and then just rest the whistle on your bottom lip. Okay. And I've seen some people Yeah, shove shove the mouthpiece way into the god like this. You don't need any tension in your mouth. Yeah, your mouth, your jaw, no tension in it, and certainly do not bite the whistle. Yeah, again, adding tension, adding tension from your jaw, and again, every sort of source of tension will be transferred into your fingers. So yeah, no biting, please. Yeah, so just rest it gently on your bottom lip like so. And then you should be able to do this quite easily. Yeah, so you've got 3 points of contact, bottom lip and your 2 thumbs. Now, if you want added stability, as I said, you can use your little finger or you can use this finger, but only above the note G. So let me show you how that works. So I've got my whistle out in front of me. I'm only holding it with minimum tension, yeah? So imagine you're holding like a paper straw or something that's easily crushed. Yeah, if you apply tension, it's going to deform that paper straw. So we don't want any deformations of the straw, if you like. So keep the whistle and only apply as much pressure to hold the whistle to stop it falling out of your hands. Yeah, as soon as you release that pressure, yeah, so just literally you're supporting it like that. Yeah, no pressure. Yeah, and don't press with your thumbs either. Yeah, if you press with your thumbs on the back of the whistle, you're going to affect the tension in your fingers. So again, another point of tension which may come into your fingers is from gripping the whistle too tightly or pressing too hard with your thumbs. So keep the pressure off the whistle, keep it nice and light. So if in order to sort of work your way up the whistle, so I've only got as much pressure as I need to lift and place my fingers back. So again, so when I'm lifting my finger, yeah, again, another point which you might want to is to try not to lift your fingers and let them fly off. Because the further up the whistle they go, the further back they've got to go. So with certain ornaments, it's all right to sort of bounce. Certainly when you want to try and get that tap, yeah, or bounce, you want to try and, so you do have to lift your fingers high enough to get that kind of nice. But in order to play quickly and to play smoothly, yeah, again, if you've got tension in your fingers which you're not using, then it's going to produce tension in the fingers that you are using. So again, when you're not using a finger, often this little finger here, yeah, it's not used in whistle. So my idea is basically to say, forget about it. Forget about it. It doesn't really come into play, this finger. So try and keep it relaxed and let it follow the motion of this finger here. So if I'm doing a or a long roll on the A, yeah, it's following the bounce of that finger, and it's all right to let it waggle and fly around. It's of no consequence, but don't put any tension in this little finger. Don't try and control this little finger, because then this finger will have tension, because these two tend to be joined together. So again, when you're trying to do the tap or the cut, if there's tension in this finger or any of the fingers that you're holding it, it's going to be more difficult to do the effective kind of momentarily sort of tapping the whistle. It's a kind of percussive thing that you're doing. So I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a little tap, hence the name tap. So when you're doing those taps, yeah, hopefully you can hear that. So no tension in your fingers. The other mistake which I've seen some beginners do is to tuck that little finger away. Yeah, try and keep it out of sight. It might seem unsightly, so you might think, oh, I better tuck that away so it doesn't just waggle around. But again, once you're tucking that finger in there, you're introducing tension into your hand and especially into that finger there, and you're going to find it much more difficult. Yeah, you can even try it. Just tuck your finger under and then just tap like that and then let it waggle around. Much, much, much more freedom if this finger is not being tucked under. So the idea is try not to tuck this little finger away. Yeah, try and just keep it and let it waggle around. So that's an important little tip. Don't do anything with this little finger. Just imagine it's invisible and it just follows the motion of this finger here. Yep. So let's recap on what we've talked about. So holding the whistle, bring it out in front of you, lift it to your bottom lip, and there you go. Don't need any fingers, just supporting it with my two thumbs and my bottom lip. Again, if you need support, you can use your little finger, or if your little finger won't move there or won't fit there, if it's particularly short, then you can use this finger, but only above the note G. If you use it on F, it'll have too much of a flattening effect. On some whistles, even the G will have a flattening effect there, so you might only be safe on the A and the B, but you should be all right with the G. So in order to play the ornamentation in a relaxed way, your fingers have to be relaxed, your shoulders have to be relaxed, and what's really important is your jaw and your mouth have to be relaxed. You often see a whistle sort of just moving slightly when you're playing and bouncing a little bit off the bottom lip. That's fine, yeah. As long as it doesn't bounce too much, so you don't lose control. So if I'm going to play a tune, I don't know, let's in order for me to ornament correctly, so it starts on a high G roll. So I've got the note cut tap on the long roll. Now, if my fingers are stiff, I'm going to sound that note and I'm going to sound the note of the cut. And we don't want to hear the note because, as I've said many times, these are rhythmic, not melodic. You're not supposed to hear the notes. So when I'm doing a long roll on the high G, note, interruption with cut, note, interruption with tap. So and again with that long B roll, note, cut, tap. Note, cut the note, sound the note, then tap the note from underneath. So and if you notice, I regularly keep my little finger there just as a course of habit, really. Just get into the habit of trying to balance it if you can with that little finger. If not, then don't worry about it. You can use that finger. So fingers have to be relaxed and soft. Otherwise, if it's not relaxed, you're not going to get that tap that we're getting in the long roll. So little exercises which are good to practice, just finger relaxation. Again, not interesting, I'm afraid, but they're quite good in terms of getting that relaxation is just to go up and down the scale. So that's the scale of D. And then you can do E to E. So I've gone from E up to B. You can go all the way up to D if you want, but just little scale passages, little exercises like that. And again, there's a 6/8 exercise which is good, which goes. You can go all the way up to D. And you can do with G. So you're practicing with the C natural and the C sharp in D. So little scalic passages, little exercises, and again we can do arpeggios. That little kind of thing, but they're all little exercises to help train your fingers to relax. And of course, playing tunes. So when you're playing a tune, there's a word which is called mindful, and I like to use that because you're being aware of something. So whenever you play a tune, whatever the tune is, something like Shebeg Shamor. So a tune, pick a tune, whichever tune you like, but one which you're really familiar with. And I want you to really be mindful about keeping those fingers soft and relaxed. So when I'm playing, so at the back of my mind, I'm always thinking about finger pressure. Am I pressing hard? Is there tension in my thumbs? And if there are, then I want you to correct that as you're playing it. So if you realize that there's tension, yeah, just think about soft, relaxed fingers. Yeah. So like anything else, the more you do it, the more it will become a good habit. And oftentimes, when you're first starting to learn the whistle, the tendency is to have tension in your fingers. And certainly when you first attempt ornamentation, you think, oh, I need to be quick with this, so I need to put more effort. And it's the opposite. You actually need to put less effort, less tension, and just let those fingers bounce with the tap and just cut when you're doing the cut. Yeah. So momentarily blips from the note. So you've got the note, then you cut from above and then tap underneath. But they're just, as one very fine fiddle player, Kevin Burke, says, they're interruptions to the note. They're not notes themselves. So they do take practice, but a good way to start is to start by eliminating that tension in your fingers. And if there's tension in your jaw, your shoulders, your arms, or even in your back, even how you sit, it all makes a difference. So if you sit playing sort of slouch like this, and it's going to cause tension in your shoulders, and then that tension will be transferred down into your arms and then into your fingers. So try and avoid any of those positions which are going to cause unnecessary tension in your arms, in your hands, in your fingers. And again, as I said, with your jaw, keep it soft, keep it relaxed. Nothing should hurt while you're playing the whistle, and nothing certainly shouldn't hurt after you're playing. Now, there is a distinct difference with low whistle, So I'm not going to talk about low whistle in terms of posture, and the same things apply, but the low whistle is a bit more difficult, especially if you've got smaller hands and there's more tension in your fingers. But again, it's exactly the same thing, is that low whistle, big whistles, there should not be any tension in your fingers. They're a bigger instrument, they're heavier, and they do take more hold rather than grip. Piper's hold I tend to use rather than grip. But yes, they are more difficult, and I suggest that when you're first starting off playing whistle, and if you want to venture into the landscape of lower whistles, then I would suggest probably starting with a G or an F whistle as a stepping stone. And then once you're comfortable with that, then the leap going from high D whistle to low D whistle isn't quite as big. But yeah, on low whistle, the same rules apply. Relaxed fingers, relaxed shoulders. However, with low whistle, there are added difficulties with additional weight and also with the span. And those of you who use Piper's grip, which probably most of you will, there's the addition of getting used to that. But I'm not going to go into that in too much detail because I'm going to do a separate tutorial video on the foibles of the low whistle, of trouble that you may encounter, and some troubleshooting things which I use in my teaching methods when I'm talking about playing low whistle. So that's it. Hopefully you will take away some of these tips on keeping your fingers relaxed and soft. And just remember, as much as possible, you only need enough tension in your fingers to stop the whistle from falling out of your hands. Yeah, beware, be mindful when you're playing. It's a huge help when it comes to learning ornamentation. And the biggest drawback to successfully carrying out rolls, cuts, crans, taps, double taps, whatever. But the biggest drawback and the biggest hindrance is to have tension in your fingers. So if you can eliminate that, I know it's easier said than done, but by persistent practice, persistent practice, and just spending a little bit of time during your practice sessions or when you're playing to be mindful that your fingers are relaxed, that your shoulders are relaxed, and that you're not clenching your jaw, and certainly no biting, please. Okay, well, if you found this tutorial useful, which I hope you have, if you'd like to give me a subscribe. If you want to hit the bell, you'll get some notifications. And again, if you could share it amongst any of your whistle playing friends or even non-whistle playing friends who might have an interest, I would greatly appreciate that. So if you've got any questions, you're welcome to leave those questions in the comments and I will answer them as soon as I possibly can. Watch out for future whistleblowers workshops. There is a workshop actually, which I did a video on previously. Whistle Club. Now Whistle Club, we meet on the last Sunday of each month. So the next Whistle Club is going to be the 30th of October, and that's at 6 o'clock. It's a group of like-minded whistle players. We work on traditional Irish and Scots tunes, and we just basically have some fun. I do a tune breakdown. I go over ornamentation and talk about things to do with that particular tune. We pick a different tune each month to do a tune breakdown, and it costs only £5 per session, so that's absolutely nothing. It's less than a pint of beer, isn't it? So yeah, if you fancy coming along to the Whistle Club, if you want to send me an email. Now my email address is piperben, all lowercase, piperben66 at gmail.com. So that's piperben66, all lowercase, at gmail.com. It'd be great to see you at Whistle Club, and for now, just keep an eye out for new tutorials which will be happening very shortly. So take care everyone, and bye for now.